wants to live below their means? I want to live the best life I can possibly live. So I talk about this often. I use liability. If I want to buy a new Ferrari, I first buy an asset, and the asset pays for the Ferrari. I wanted a Rolls Royce. Why? Because I never had a Rolls Royce. I've had Bentleys. So I built an asset, and the asset then bought my Rolls Royce. Now I'm kind of bored with cars. So I don't have a guilty thing, is that I have financial education, which is what the Rich Dad Company teaches. And you can have the same thing too. You just have to stop listening to those school teachers who are poor. You know, most school teachers, like my poor dad, very good people, but they're so terrified of making mistakes. They want a steady paycheck, and they want a guaranteed pension. I don't think you can get rich from that point of view. Look at this chart here. It's called the cash flow quadrant. E and S, employee and self-employed. That was my poor dad. You know, these guys work for money. These guys are not capitalists. They work for money and they invest their own money. On the B and the I side is my rich dad side. That's the capitalist side. Capitalists use other people's labor and other people's money to get rich. Which side do you want to be on? I'd rather be on the capitalist side. So that's the only difference. It's a whole shift of mindset and education, but everybody can do it if you want to do it. What makes something an asset or liability are the two most important words in business: cash flow. Which way is the cash flowing? So an asset, if the money is flowing into your income statement, it's an asset. So my rich dad would say, if money is flowing into your pocket, it's an asset. If money is flowing out of your pocket, it's a liability. So the average person, they go out and they buy a house, they say, oh, it's an asset. But every month, it's flowing straight to the bank. So your money flows straight to the bank. Not that intelligent. You know, I want the money to flow from the bank to me. So it flows to the bank. Or what they'll do is they'll buy a stock or a bond or a mutual fund, and it's an asset, and it flies straight to Wall Street. So the average employee, like my poor dad, with a high-paying job, the money comes in, goes straight out the taxes into the government. Does that make sense? So when you get a job, first line, taxes; second, mortgage to the bank; third, your 401k or your IRA, straight to Wall Street. You want the money flowing into your pocket, not out of your pocket. So the one last thing I'll show you here is this is the asset column. This is what Rich Dad worked for. He worked for assets. He didn't want a job. And this is my poor dad here. He wanted a high-paying job. Different mindsets. So today, you know, I still go home to Hawaii. I see my relatives, and they call me Bobby. Bobby, have you got a job yet? And I go, no, Auntie, I don't have a job. She goes, oh, too bad, you're unemployed. I said, yep. So their mindset is they've been programmed to be employees to work for the rich. And that's what my rich dad taught me. So it's all here in the financial statement. The rich work for assets. The poor and middle class work for money. Very different mindset. So I don't want a job, I just want the asset that produces income called cash flow. Not taxable. Not taxable. That's why the rich are getting richer. And this is called a financial statement. What makes the cash flow game different from Monopoly, which how my rich dad taught me via Monopoly, is my rich dad also taught me about financial statements. So the cash flow is the only game with a financial statement. So really simply, when you look at a financial statement, there's income, expense, assets, liabilities. There's one more thing in the cash flow game on the financial statement you'll see. It's the most important statement of all. It's called the statement of cash flow. It's off to the side here. Mm-hmm. So if you're going to be an entrepreneur or a capitalist, you have to have one of these. If you're going to be rich, you have to have one of these. But 99% of all high school students leaving school and college have no idea what this is. You have FICO scores, but you don't know what this is.
No.
So when a banker asks you for your financial statement, they want to see how smart you are here. So let me tell you why school makes students poor. So really simply, it's this. Let's say I have a master's in arts, Master of Arts degree, right?
Yeah.
Or a Bachelor of Arts degree.
Yeah.
Do I learn anything about income?
No.
Banker looks at your financial statement, they're looking at the mirror of you. This is a reflection of you. And if you got Jack here and Jack here, then you're not that smart financially. So the reason the cash flow game is such an important game, it teaches you what is important to your banker or for a capitalist or for an entrepreneur, is that an entrepreneur's got to know how to increase their income.
Yeah.
And an entrepreneur's got to know how to create assets. If you don't know those two things, you should not be an entrepreneur. You should be an employee. And this is another lesson my rich dad would give me. So real quickly, this is the cash flow quadrant, You have E stands for employee, S stands for self-employed or small business, or specialist like a doctor or a lawyer. B stands for big business, 500 employees or more, and I stands for insider investor. See, these guys are passive investors, they're outsiders. These guys invest from the inside. So the I's are like Shark Tank guys, like Mark Cuban and all that. They're entrepreneurs who now acquire other companies. So when I was probably in my 20s, or when I was growing up, should I say, my dad wanted me to be an employee. So when I got out of the Marine Corps, I could fly. So he wanted me to fly for the airlines as a pilot. So I didn't want to do that. And my mom, she was a nurse, and she wanted me to be a specialist, like a medical doctor. And I said to my mom, this is one problem. I said, medical doctors are smart. That's what S stands for. She goes, you're right, you'll never be a doctor. So I only had one hope, was to go to the B side and the I side. So today, I own many, many businesses, and I invest from the inside. Now, some people say, well, insider trading, that's illegal. It's not illegal. There are certain parts of insider trading that's illegal, but the biggest deal is always inside. So what my rich dad taught me is, if you're not on the inside, you're on the outside. And the reason most people don't make much money is on the outside. Like just now, Uber and Lyft floated on the stock exchanges. The insiders already made their money. Now the outsiders come in. That's the game. So in my lifetime, I've taken 3 companies public on the Toronto Stock Exchange. A gold company, a silver company, and an oil company. I did it because I wanted to find out what it's like to be on this side, on the B and the I side. And they're completely different worlds, different mindsets, different human beings. So if you want to go to school, this is where people wind up, E&S. And Rich Dad stands for people who want to be on this side here. It's a very different mindset, skill sets, education processes. Edit. Jack Ma, who was the founder of a little company called Alibaba, he just recently said, if you're 35 and you're not rich and successful, you'll never be successful. Of course, Jack Ma is a school teacher.